to That Girl Chef YouTube channel. I'm Marla, and today I want to do a simple bread making recipe for you. So what we're going to do is we're starting out with 2 cups of water and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Now you want to make sure that your water is under 115 degrees because you do not want to kill your yeast. And to that, we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. It's going to start bubbling up, and we call that proving or proofing. We're going to take 5.5 cups of flour and add it to our mixing bowl. So let's get, all right, we got our flour added, 1.5 teaspoons of salt here. And we're just going to dump that in. We're going to take our dough mixer and we're just going to incorporate that into our flour. We're also going to add 2/3 a cup of sugar. All right, we've got our yeast here, and we've got our yeast proofed, and we're going to just add this liquid to our flour, the dry ingredients. I'm going to take a spatula here and get the sugar that didn't get all dissolved or eaten by our yeast and put it in there with it also. All right, so we're going to incorporate this together. I also have an egg here, and I'm going to put this egg in here. Put our liquid ingredients all in at the same time before I put it over on my stand mixer and let this knead for 10 minutes. I also have a 1/4 cup of butter cubed, and as I'm kneading it on my stand mixer, I'll put these little cubes of butter and let them be incorporated. All right, so we kneaded our dough for 10 minutes, and then we let our dough rise for another 45 minutes. So we're going to punch this down, and we're going to make cinnamon rolls with this dough. Just get a little bit of flour, and we're going to use our dough scrape here, help us get this out. We're going to knead this for just a couple more seconds, not long, just long enough to get it all punched down real quick. We're going to be using our dough scraper, cut our dough in 2, and we're going to do it in a couple of smaller batches. So for these cinnamon rolls, we're going to roll our dough pretty thin because we'll be rolling them up really tight once we get the goodies on the inside of them. I'm going to brush this dough. This right here is an egg wash, and it's just egg white added some water. I do not use butter. I know that's the thing that you always see is butter being used, but the reason I don't like to use the butter is that I find when you use butter, then your butter melts out of your cinnamon rolls onto the bottom of your pan and takes your brown sugar and your cinnamon with it. Of making cinnamon rolls, I've had that problem of my brown sugar in my cinnamon rolls running out onto the bottom of my pan, and then you've got this gooey mess on the bottom of your cinnamon rolls. Not that it's not good, but I want that to stay inside my dough. That's why I put it there, and I'm not making sticky buns and adding it to the bottom of my pan and putting it inside here, and I want it to stay inside here. So I use either an egg wash like this or a little bit of milk. All right, I've got that egg washed on here, and now I'm going to sprinkle my brown sugar and cinnamon on my dough. Just go over the whole surface of your dough. All right, we got this well covered, and now what we're going to do is roll these up, and we're going to roll it pretty tight. You just start and you go over and you roll it till you get to the end. I got these all rolled up, and I push my dough together. So I'm going to take here and I'm going to cut my ends off, and I'm going to get in the middle as much as possible. It may not be perfectly in the middle, but it's close. And I'm going to cut these into about 1 inch. After we get these cut, we're going to place them in our pan. I'm going to set them over there on top of my stove that I have preheating to 350 degrees. And I'm going to let them rise for approximately another 15 minutes. Then I'm going to put them in a preheated oven for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. and I will check those at the 15-minute mark. If I don't feel like they're done, then I'll add another 5 minutes to my timer and I'll check them again in 5 minutes. Key here, if you have a digital probe thermometer, check that temperature of those cinnamon rolls with that. Between 195 to 200 degrees on your bread is done. So you can pull those out of the oven when you check it and it's 195 degrees. Your bread is done. So I'm going to put these in the pan, set them over there, and I'll show you what they look like when we get finished. We have our cinnamon rolls out of the oven. And they rose up very beautiful. And so now what we're going to do is put an icing on them. Some powdered sugar, or condensed sugar, and some heavy whipping cream, and made a icing to go on these. And I'm just going to go over them. If you like yours swimming in there, pour the whole bowl on it. Recipe for the icing will be in the comments. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope that you learned something.